It should be live again now.
Okay, let's see.
I hope. Uh,
Oh, yes.
hey, we are live. We are live. Well, if that's the case, welcome everyone to round 2 of the ALR eSports League. Watkins, Glen, the other side of the world from last week. Hello, Justin. I'm pretty sure it's mortal.
Oh, awesome! It is up and running. It just never came up on the Discord. Right,
Yeah.
I've put the link though. I'm just gonna put a little announcement out.
Yeah, should be sorted. Alright, we are on round 2 of the ALR's eSports League. Round 1 had a, had a red flag incident, and then, following that,
yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, relatively close group. That definitely wasn't half manufactured in any way, shape, or form.
Completely changed the outcome of the race though, with different drivers able to challenge at the front. Like Perry.
Yeah, eventually won the race. So, going through the standings out of week 1, Suzuka last week, Watkins, Glen this week. So out of Suzuka, it was Project Platypus on 48, Arix on 46, ESP on 38, V2 on 20, and Pegasus on 16. So a couple of the teams need to find some ground. Definitely need to find a way forward after week 1.
Yeah, it looks at the moment like the two strongest teams are the Arix team and the Project Platypus team. Project Platypus could have potentially even won by a greater amount, but BX ended up finishing dead last in the end, even though he was on course for a podium at various points earlier in the race. So yeah, we have to see what the other guys can do. We've got some new faces today. So we got in Project Platypus, we got Iggy, who has replaced Viking for today, which is pretty much a like-for-like replacement, I'd probably say. He's driving the BMW M6. Then we've got Ben MK driving for Arix, so his PSN is Arix MK. So he's in Tier 1, he finished runner-up in Tier 2 last season in our Monday League. He's in the Porsche, so that's going to be quite difficult on a high tyre wear track. And then just looking down, we got Martin, that's also Kanata to everyone who's in the server. He is joined V2, hasn't he?
Yes, he is V2. For now, at the very least, in with Skyline, who is making his debut for V2 tonight as well.
He's a brand new face. And I think Clemson is new as well for ESP.
Yes, Clemson is the replacement for Hammers, who was unduly removed from the server last week.
Yes, he had.
After intentionally taking out Gunmad in the Monday races.
Yeah. So he can't race for ESP anymore. A bit of a shame. He had a very strong race last week. Finished in the top 5. But we'll have to see what Clemson could do. So Clemson's in the AMG and Skyline is in the McLaren, sorry. So let's see how many McLarens we've got, because we know they've got amazing tyre wear. Snipes and Skyline, is that it if we scroll up to the top?
I believe so.
Okay.
We got a few interesting drivers for tonight. Javi, obviously, the one to watch.
In the Mazda. Yeah.
Had the chance in Suzuka, and then somehow couldn't get past Tier 2 Perry, which is interesting conundrum. Maybe he overestimated his car when it comes to the tyres. So we'll see whether or not he comes with a slightly adapted strategy.
I can't imagine anyone trying the one-stop tonight. The tyre wear's too high, and you don't lose nearly as much time in the pits compared to Suzuka. It's quite a short pit stop. I think you can get in and out in 15 seconds if you're just changing tyres as well. So yeah, I think 2-stop is going to be the way for pretty much everyone. Or maybe 3-stop if the tyre wear's bad.
There's Watkins. The tyre wear is always bad. That's just a given.
But we're on times 2, see? So I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make.
Yeah, potentially. Lord Hand asking if BX has had some practice this week. I hope so.
He's known all week he's racing instead of 30 minutes notice. So if he gets another P15, I don't know, Perry might have to make a decision on his future in the team.
Yeah, and but yeah, we're hoping for a little bit more fight from some of these teams this week. We obviously had the battle between Arix and Arix and Project Platypus last week. People like Pegasus, teams like Pegasus they gotta have a rebound week. Gotta have a rebound week. Same lineup, but they've got to go for it.
Same lineup as last week. So unless they've unlocked a little bit of pace in the car, I think two of them are in the Porsche. They might have been working together on downforce and all that kind of stuff this week to get a better setup.
Yeah, they've got to get something going because last week, just every single time they looked like they were going to start making their way through the pack toward the front, got hampered by something, and you just aren't going to get away with that when you've got the level of driver in this lobby, who are just simply going to make you pay.
So we've got Wesley there for ESP as well, looks like he's second on track. Oh, in front of loads of people. Hopefully they don't start fighting each other on the outlap. Wesley had a fantastic second half of the race in Suzuka. So the first half was going a bit disastrously. He was in 10th, and then on the restart he worked his way up to, I think, 4th in the end, or 5th. So that's him showing what he's capable of when he's in the right car, I suppose. In the Mazda, in a livery that either hasn't loaded or...
It just hasn't loaded. You'll figure that out for half of them. Like, Slim hasn't loaded either.
Great.
And that's how I know it hasn't loaded, funny enough. Because I know Slim had the black and gold, Don's the black and gold on that Porsche, funny enough, right behind him. We'll wait and see if these guys actually know what qualifying looks like. Given the fact that everyone is just starting to bunch up maybe a little bit too much for a qualifying session. BX is going to be the one that leads us away, host privilege and all that.
Yeah, he had to take advantage of it, didn't he?
Yeah,
I was wondering if he was going to let anyone else out first.
He's got host privilege for exactly 1 week now that my PS5 actually has functionality for more than 30 seconds. I'll BX straight into a wall before even starting the lap. That's an incredible start.
Right, let's ride on board with him, see how he tackles some of these corners in the first sector. So he's in the Ferrari 458 MR car, has a lot of, what do you call it? Skidding, I suppose, through corners. Yeah, it's a difficult car to handle, but it's BX's favourite car, which is why he's chosen to drive it here. So hoping for slightly better than P15 tonight.
Yeah, he's got to recover from that spin at the end of Suzuka with something huge. Pegasus just joined the chat. Hoping for a lot better from a few of these drivers last week. This week, Pegasus being the entire team being one of them. BX is definitely at the top of that list though. 15th last week, a track he should have been accustomed to, even though he didn't have an awful lot of practice with the Aero, given that we do Suzuka fairly regularly. And
he wasn't accustomed to the tyre wall though, unfortunately, but he became accustomed to it.
Yeah, it's a bit too accustomed to the tyre wall, shall we say, as he comes toward the end of his lap here. He got B2 cheering in the chat as well. Pegasus, that looked maybe a little bit deep.
Is that going to be a penalty, potentially? If he couldn't see if he went all 4 tyres, I think he's got away with it.
I think he has, yeah. I think I couldn't tell whether or not that front right was staying on the curb, because that's track limit here. At Watkins, Glen, that curb usually dictates it, not the yellow line for some reason, as the rest of every other track they've known to man. But BX coming to the line anyway, doing a 43.7 to start. Clem's
in the 43s already. Let's see what everyone else... Well, Javi's already responded, going half a second quicker with a 43.2. Clemson in a 49, so he must have had a problem somewhere. Kanata 45.7 and Wesley 44.6 puts Wesley up in third.
Also, Ben doing a nice little 4th place. Also, Perry, your only winner in the history of this league, is currently in third. That's a sentence that I'm only going to be able to say for one more week.
Iggy's just blown everyone out the water with a 43 flat. So nearly in the 42s, which that's just silly. Like, does the aero changing help it that much? Because I don't remember us going this quickly in the Monday League.
To answer your question, one, yes it does, and two, the M6 is the best car around this track in the first place. So, and you had that to arguably the fastest driver this league's ever seen.
Very true.
You usually get quite
That's gonna be
an
a penalty for
interesting
CO2.
outcome. Yeah, it definitely will be. So let's show some love to a little bit to Pegasus here. Let's see if we can see what they're doing.
Yeah, Pumpkin Patch on his second hot lap. 44.7, so he's 1.7 seconds off of Iggy's time. I'm sure he can find a little bit extra, get into the 43s if he's tuned this Porsche correctly.
And yeah, well, hopefully they've made a little bit more progress on that front. And also, well, given the fact that it's a Porsche, he's probably going to lose some places off the line here as well. So he's going to have to do something.
Yeah. And he's 3/10 up on his time already, so that'll move him further up in the top 10.
Should take him, actually, only up above Wedley, and that's it.
Oh, never mind.
Watkins said he was 10 minutes too late to race.
Javi just set a 43 flat as well, and he's just overtaken Iggy now, actually. So Iggy's gonna have to respond to that if he wants to get P1 back. Pumpkin Patch loses a bit of time in the most recent sector. 43.3 for Perry.
Yeah, Wedley into the pit, so Pumpkin's going to be able to have a go at Wedley here for the time. Goes over the line, 44.4 is only enough.
Yeah, so he does go ahead of Wesley. Wesley and Iggy have both gone in the pit, so that's why Iggy hasn't had any response time to Javi. I think the gap is less than a tenth between the top two at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, it's a penalty there. Let's have a look at what Javi's doing. Let's see if Javi has got any ground on that 43.0. Are we going to see a 42?
Should be an in-lap, really. I wouldn't be surprised if this was an in-lap and he's going to go out one more time.
I don't know, you know, we're 6 minutes in.
Oh, well, he's only half a tenth down, though, on his fastest time.
I was about to say, look at those tyres. You at the bottom left of the screen. Those tyres are not wearing very well in the slightest. So you might have been right with your comment earlier there about the tyre wear. But we'll wait and see.
And
yeah.
He's down now. If I was him, I'd bail and go into the pits. Oh, just a mind reader. Just a mind reader.
Yeah, he is going to do that indeed. So that means we are going to take a look. Oh, there's someone round. That's Slim.
Oh, Eric Slim. He's in P4, which we've completely missed, by the way. So he's actually the highest placed. Oh no, he's not. Javi's first.
Javi
a 1 and 4 and 6 at the moment, actually.
Ben,
so half of the top 6 are Eric's guys.
Yeah,
and the other half are Project Platypus guys.
Pretty sure Ben just cut the pit lane for all that.
Oh, that won't matter too much in quali.
So let's. I mean, we say
the
that.
on fresh tyres as well. He went into the pit, so this must be the start of his fast lap. Only his second fast lap of the qualifying.
Oh yeah, and we say that like it's not already 1.5 away from the end of the or 2.5 sorry, from the end of qualifying. So it might actually play a part if you get a penalty now. And also Pumpkin Patch with a 43.9 there puts himself up in the 6th.
Really good. He's always the first person to spoil the party for Arix and Project Platypus right now.
Yeah, pushes MK out of the top 6 for now. Let's see if anyone else is going after this. There's someone having a bit of a mess in the first sector.
Looks like
driving by. Not entirely sure. I definitely look like the Project Platypus car, that's for certain. Let's have a look. Let's see if Clemson can improve. He's currently the highest placed ESP guy. He's currently in 3rd in the championship. Only, what was it, 10 points, I think, behind the leaders out of...
Yeah, only 10 points behind, but they're currently getting beaten by a V2 driver and a Pegasus driver here. So actually, potentially the worst qualifying team in total, unless they can pull something out of the bag in these final moments.
Well, he's going to need 4 attempts just to catch up, that's all. He's going to need 4 attempts just to catch up with
6 tenths down for Clemson.
Yeah, well, I would say we could see what's going on in the midfield here, but I don't actually know what the hell's going on in this scenario.
Yeah. I think Ben must be on a... Oh, so Snipes has gone back into the pits there.
I was about to say that. Snipes just diving straight back. Well, I say diving and not just quitting straight back out. drivers use any Group 3 car. So the drivers have chosen their car prior to the season, or immediately upon entering if they have come in later on. That's 4 thousandths of a second improvement there by Wedley. Doesn't take him anywhere, but they showed their car immediately on upon registration to their teams into the actual eSports, and are locked in that car for the rest of the season. So they've already chose all their cars. Everything's already been decided. It's just a case of you go with what you got. Let's have a look. Let's see if who do you want to watch? I think he's got 1.5 seconds worth of penalties. And
let's go back on board with Javi, because Javi's obviously the closest to him. I think this an outlap?
This is
his lap. Yeah.
Let's have a look. The second sector time is coming up right at the third sector time. I can never remember if this is a 3-sector
there's
or
like
4
5
sector
sectors
track.
or something, yeah.
But there's a sector line. He is up.
And he is up, but it's not up nearly enough. He needs to pull something out of the bag in these last 2 sectors now.
Fracker said it'd be funny if BX's PS5 explodes mid-race. If that happens, we are going to do as red flag procedures as we did last week. There goes Javi into the wall!
Ruined it. It wasn't going to be fast enough anyway, but he's well and truly effed that one up.
Well,
so we got Perry still in P3. He's still on a fast lap, but he's gone very wide there, so I don't think he'll be improving on his time. BX Royal was 4.8 seconds down in the end. Slim might have a chance. He's probably the last one to be able to improve.
He's down right now. He's not. He's about a 10th. He's got to find maybe an entire second in 3 corners. Good luck with that. Wedley a 44.2. Let's see if it puts him up into 7th.
Yeah, not bad for Wesley.
To the line. Is it quicker?
Oh,
Pumpkins
1/10 down.
Let's see. Is anyone else up to the line now? 42, 43, 44, 1
Skyline
for
up into
Skyline.
7th. Just ahead of Wesley there.
CO2 to the line now. 43, 44, 44, 6 with an upper 11th. Genrick is
decent
done.
qualifying for him. Kanata struggling in P14 on his debut, unfortunately, and it looks like Street Fighter's just miles behind.
We've got one more lap by the looks of things, because he has full control of his car. It's an outlap anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, that looks like quality's completely over there. So 3 of the top 4, it looked like, are PvP cars. The other 2 are I can't be asked to say Project Platypus every time. Like we need a shorter way of calling this team. It's just not. It's just not working for me.
Yeah, I have definitely grown past the mental age of an 8-year-old. But yeah, there you go.
There we go. Let's go PP. Right. So yeah, Street Fighter 1.1 seconds off the back of P14, which is crazy. Huge difference in speed between, I think you could probably say, the top 3, and then BX Royal and Slim are kind of on their own, and then it's kind of the rest of the drivers there. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone who's not currently in the top 5 could challenge in the race, because it seems like there's a clear gap at the moment.
Absolutely, but there's definitely a much bigger improvement there for Pegasus 6th place instead of all of them outside of the top 10 as they were last time. Definitely not distracting from it a little bit, but it's an own goal. Georgia are winning. Not entirely
really?
sure.
Nice.
Yeah, not entirely sure that's happened. But yeah, totally not distracting from the actual stream or anything. The football in the background at all. Those who have watched
Ben only in 9th, by the way. That's a very poor qualifying for him. So his first lap he was in the top 3 at the beginning of qualifying, and every single lap he just must have not been able to improve on that initial lap that he set. Dropping all the way to 9th there, he'll be pretty surprised, I'd say, to find himself that low down.
Oh yeah, he's already losing ground, and he's in a Porsche on the rest of the group, because he's
got 2 Mercedes behind him as well. They're just going to swamp him into turn 1.
Yeah, his fight is with Project Platypus, so he's already won the man down, and you can see Pumpkin, Skyline, Wedley, all the rest of the teams that are not quite in the top 2, all have that one guy that have put in a damn good lap, put himself to the top half of the grid, and then the rest are basically nowhere. You got Jemrick in 12th, Street Fighter 15th, Snipes in 13th, Martin in 14th in V2. and Clemson in 10th and CO2 in 11th. That's actually a much bigger improvement for CO2 than I was expecting.
Oh, here we go. We're starting.
Definitely wasn't paying too much attention to the qualifying results. This has been a great way to great directorship for like actually watching the race so far. I bet I could go and get a job.
Watch out for Perry, because Perry's car is a bit faster than Arex's. You might be able to get him off the line here into turn 1. Iggy should hopefully be able to hold things off, but it's lights out and away we go. Take it away.
Here we go, down to turn 1. It looks like BX has got one hell of a start. And he goes to the inside now, down towards turn 1. He's actually hit the lead of the race.
From P4 to P1, that is insane.
That is incredible off the first corner. And now we've got 1, 2, 4 as Project Platypus, as he is now Perry is immediately under fire from Slim. Slim going around the outside here at turn 3, maybe trying to go now to the inside against Perry, trying to get 4th place off of that Merc, and has done quite spectacularly on the inside.
It looks like
there.
Javi is going to have a go at Iggy for P1. He has to tuck in just behind before the bus stop chicane here.
Yeah, BX got an electric start off the line, but his car is still a Ferrari and is still really bad.
Yeah, already down to P3 again. Yeah,
you get to a position where BX in a Ferrari, or tuned or not, is not going to stand up to a tuned tuned M6, especially around here anyway. Going
a little bit further down, we've got Skyline is solid P6 at the moment, just holding off Snipes behind him.
What happened to Pumpkin? Pumpkin
down in 12th.
12th.
He is in the Porsche. That could just be the Porsche starts, you know.
It could be. It's not a good start there for Pegasus. We go further back up the grid. The rest of the guys are still fighting their way on through, and it also doesn't look like Ben has got off to a great start either.
No, he's lost a position. Yeah, he's behind Genrick as well.
Another one in the Porsche, and there's a lot of Porsches back here already fighting their way and creating a little bit of a gap from that top 8. Splitting just a little bit. We've got people fighting their way all the way down through the first couple. There's pit stops already.
People are pitting. This is a big shock. Right, they've obviously coordinated on a very specific strategy, the Arex guys, giving up really good positions in the top 4 to risk an early pit stop out of any sort of fighting that they're going to have to do, and try and get the mother of all undercuts on the Project Platypus guys.
Yeah, you know how last week they were meant to be actually Snipes all the way up in the 4th? That's an electric start from him.
Amazing.
As here comes Skyline looking to the inside of him now. Both of these in a McLaren. Now to the inside goes Skyline. A little bit of a coordinated move maybe there to see the faster driver up into 4th as it stands. Wedley held up directly behind that. But do you think that, you know, last week where we had Ben in the chat just coughing and thinking Slim had done the one stop and all that? And the fact that Ben's actually racing this time, he might be screaming at them to do the one stop, to do the one pit this time.
He probably is, yeah. Obviously, Ben's stayed out though, because Ben's probably going to be the worst on tyres out of everyone tonight. So he's probably not going to be able to make whatever strategy they're going to do work. Oh, it looks like Perry went really. Yeah, he lost a lot of traction, nearly span on the exit of that hairpin. And now Skyline's going to try and move around the outside. Really late on the brakes is Skyline, and Perry's just seems to not have much confidence in his car at the moment. He's lost P3 now. It was a Project Platypus 1, 2, 3, and now Skyline and Snipes is going to follow Perry through as well. Perry's all the way down to 5th, and slightly off track on the grass as well on the exit. So he's under pressure from Wesley now.
Can I just say how much of a beautiful move that was from Skyline on the outside there? Yeah. He picked his spot and was like, Perry is never getting away with this, and that's beautiful. Also, nice little bit of teamwork. At the end of the day, this is a team championship, so a nice little bit of teamwork there from Snipes and Skyline to actually get the move done, but not for one of them, for both of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Perry down to 5th. He's under a lot of pressure from Wesley now. Wesley will be fancying a move on him. He's definitely into the slipstream. And CO2 is battling with Ben. Ben was ahead of CO2, so CO2's actually overtaken Ben. We saw CO2 didn't have great pace last week, but to be ahead of Ben is quite impressive.
Yeah, and it might not be lasting much longer though. Here comes the outside for Ben, down into the bottom of the cage. Same with Perry and Wedley up ahead. We can't watch both at the same time, unfortunately, and it looked like CO2 is able to hold on, and it also looked like Perry was able to hold on here as well. So no change coming out of the bus stop chicane somehow.
Well, that's important for Perry. Perry needs to kind of just steady the ship a little bit after losing those positions and losing traction on his car. So the fact that he's managed to keep Wesley behind might give him the confidence back to start driving a bit more like we know and expect from him.
Well, yeah, he's only going to be able to say this for another 37 laps or so. But he's the only winner in the history of this entire league. So you'd expect him to be able to do something. We've got battles all the way down here. Here comes Clemson on the inside of Street Fire, and he
great
gets
overtake there by Clemson. Really late on the brakes, but nailed the apex and got that position fairly straightforward at the end.
Yeah, they made that look extremely easy somehow. I mean, we got a long train forming here from, Perry all the way back now, actually. They've included themselves in this. Is Perry anywhere near Wesley? Perry just breaking off a little bit. Wesley as well, and then CO2, the actual lead of said train.
Yeah, what tyre is Ben on?
So Ben is currently on a medium tyre compared to...
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So he's on the medium tyre, losing positions to soft runners.
Yeah, CO2 had a little bit of a mess there on the exit of turn 1. So he might just lose a little bit of ground here on Wesley, and maybe now susceptible for another attempted move here by Ben. He's going to go to the outside.
Very defensive, unnecessarily defensive, I think. And that's going to compromise his run through the bus stop. And that's why Ben is all the way along the outside of him into this sweeping right-hand corner. I think they call it Big Spoon. And he's still side by side with CO2, but he's tucked in behind. He's gone for a late lunge, and he's still being hung out to dry by CO2. CO2's got some great traction on that Mercedes right now.
It looked like they almost came together for a split second there out of that corner. And CO2 just doing enough. I thought he had got a little bit too wide to hang on, but doing just about enough here to hold that Porsche at bay. Bearing in mind the tyre difference between the two as well. Softs on the I think that's Merc and CO2 in front of
he is Ben. In the Merc, yeah.
And then you've got mediums on both the Pegasus guards, currently 9th and 10th. Then you've got Kanata on a medium, soft for Clemson, soft for Street Fighter, and now soft for both Slim and for Javi. Slim having a penalty.
When you're trying to do an undercut, you can't be getting silly penalties like that. It's going to just put you into the clutches of drivers with much fresher tyres whenever they end up making their stops.
Yeah. And can I just continue on the work from V2 here? They started nowhere. I was making the point going into this race, so they had one driver potentially high up, and then the rest were just fighting with the rest, I guess, is the nicest way of putting it. But they're 3rd and 4th right now, albeit a couple have made pits.
And they're the only McLarens on the track as well, and we know from a lot of experience how good the McLaren is on its tyres. So if they can go really long, and with the pace that they're clearly showing on this McLaren, they could be in shout with a really good shout for podiums by the end of the race.
Yeah, especially to continue the teamwork, because right now Perry's not getting close. Like, he is not.
No, he's losing time, if anything.
Yeah, he's not within a shout at this moment, and they're just doing a pretty good job at this point in time. And Garrett's got a 2.5 second penalty. MK is going around the outside again. This time, also not able to get past CO2 somehow. CO2 is an absolute wall.
Yeah. So yeah, the Porsche guys, obviously we know the Porsche loves its medium tyres probably a little bit more than other cars. So they're going long, but they are losing a lot of ground to the soft runners, and Genrick just losing multiple positions there, including to his teammate Street Fighter. That's 3 positions because of that 1.5 second penalty. So that's going to massively compromise his strategy. But a little bit further up, we've got.
Not an awful lot happening, realistically.
Yeah, not an awful lot happening.
Apart from
CO2 and Ben, yeah, let's stick with this. I think Ben's going to start getting a bit frustrated. Nearly went a little bit too wide and got a penalty there, but I think he just about avoided that.
I was about to say, you're saying just about to get frustrated. It looked like he is already starting to make minute
I know,
errors
CO2
there.
is defending every single corner as well. He's not having it. He's not going to let Ben past if he can help it.
He has absolutely been told that he is not allowed past in any circumstance. There is definitely communication between the team here. He is absolutely not allowed past in any
Yeah.
way, shape or form. And CO2 is executing that order.
And now
to
Pumpkin
absolute
Patch is
perfection.
right up the back of Ben as well, so he's actually challenging Ben coming up to the bus stop.
It's not going to work though, and they're going to
No,
sit
it's
here.
not.
Ben just Ben's almost got to the point of squeezing
Oh, he went a little
CO2
bit
through
too
a
deep.
corner.
And now Pumpkin Patch gives him a little nudge. That's not very polite, but I think, well, actually, Ben's going to continue going defensive into the next corner, the Little Spoon, and he's going to keep the position for now. This is great news for CO2, who's kind of gapped them by a second. And now Clemson is Clemson. Clemson. He's caught up anyway, whoever he is.
Yes, Gleason has got up to the back of Pumpkin.
Oh my god.
You're not going to live that one down.
I'm just going to change his name on Discord and say it was that all along.
So Clemson trying to catch up to the back of Pumpkin and to the back of MK. I can't stop laughing. That is incredible. We got a four-way train for what is 7th position right now, probably about 9th on track. When you factor in a couple of pit
someone's
stops,
coming in the pits. Pumpkin Patch is coming in off of his mediums, so he's going for a completely different strategy to the rest of the grid, because we only saw pit stops on lap 1 and nothing ever since. And I'm assuming everyone else is probably going to go until their fuel runs out, to be honest.
Let's see where Javi's going to come out ahead.
Javi should be comfortably ahead. But there's an
comfortably
8-second gap between Javi and Slim. We saw Slim with that huge penalty. So Pumpkin Patch could potentially come out. He does skip turn 1 when you come out of the pits.
He might. He's only fueling up 83%. The car is starting to head out now.
Oh, I think he's going to come out just behind. Yeah.
You should be able to see him peer.
And what tyres is Pumpkin Patch on now? I'm assuming. Oh, he's gone back out on a fresh set of. Oh no, soft.
No, he's soft.
It just changed at the last second.
Yeah, it only changes right at the end there. Street Fighter against Kanata. Kanata not really getting anywhere against Street Fighter here. Street Fighter up into 10th for now. So Clemson actually nowhere near.
Yeah, he's dropping off now.
The pit stop for Pumpkin, so that kind of ended the chance of him being in the train for a little while. But CO2 is once again still absolutely.
Oh, what's
holding
happened to BX?
I'm not entirely sure. I guess we're about to figure out whether, because it doesn't look like it's a pit. So we're about to figure out whether
something's happened to BX on this lap, because he's been in the 45s and 44s, and now all of a sudden he's behind Wesley Snipes and Skyline. Yeah.
Also, Snipes is here. What's happened is there's a lot that changed at the front with the pit stops. We may have missed that. We're focusing too much on the back of the grid. So Skyline's in second. He was in front of Wesley anyway, and he was just going through. So BX must have had an issue. Yeah, BX has had an issue. Look, he's 148 already. So, and it's not an outlap, so he must have spanned the pit stop in behind. I think that's Ben.
He's lost nearly 10 seconds on that lap, BX. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, he span. Had to have. Perry also can't have. Perry at 150 as well, so Perry must have been caught up in the crossfire.
Do you think they had it coming together? If they have and we missed that, I'm going back and finding it on the replay as soon as possible.
Oh god. We were too busy figuring out what's going on here.
So it looks like we missed Ben coming in the pits as well. So let's have a little look further down and see where all these people have shaked out now that they've come in the pits.
We didn't miss Ben coming into the pits. I caught that on the way out. Perry got a penalty, so that would explain his slower lap time.
Okay, so Javi's still about 8 seconds ahead of Slim. Slim's got 12 on Ben, so that undercut has worked out massively in their favour at this point. But I expect
massively back.
Yeah, well, Pumpkin's still catching up. I think he's just coming out of the pits now. Is he? Yeah, he must be.
He went in the lap earlier, so.
Oh no, Ben was coming out of the pits. That's why it was slowing down. Yeah, but he's 10 seconds off the back of Ben there, so that's not working out so much in his favour, because they were very close together, I think.
I was about to say, bear in mind, they were in this. Funny enough, this train is Clemson just goes deep by a mile.
That's his teammate. He's taken some advice from Hammers, I think.
He's got Street Fighter behind. Street Fighter's not going to care at all, because he's now going to go to the inside.
Yeah, Street Fighter's just going to swoop through. I don't know what's happened with Clemson, but he seems to just not be in control of his car at all. And he's got a 1.5-second penalty to... And that, he just avoided getting another penalty there on the exit of the penultimate corner.
Well, Street Fighter is going to take that and run with it because Clemson was quite a decent chunk ahead. He's got a penalty and now he's behind. And that means that Street Fighter is now let loose on CO2. I get the only problem for him being let loose on CO2 is CO2 just stopped Ben for about 10 laps, sorry.
Perry's closed back in on BX Royal as well, so he's well, they both got pretty good tyres though, so I don't see maybe BX has had another little error somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot. Oh, that probably might have been there with that kind of line, and there's another second penalty.
Oh.
Yeah,
so Perry's going to overtake BX on this lap.
That was as nailed on as he was ever going to get. He didn't even make the corner, never mind try to get on the curb. But yeah, we're going through. So PX will drop behind Perry. No pit stops for either driver at this point in time. No pit stops for Wedley, Skyline, and or Iggy either. Up to the first 9 laps of this race. And there goes Perry on the outside. So all the guys at the front spread out by about 5 seconds or more, and 5 seconds between Iggy and Skyline, and 2 seconds between the rest, and 6 seconds back from BX to CO2. So everyone up to Clemson hasn't pitted so far. Clemson's fighting Kanata after his.
I don't think Kanata's pit yet.
Yeah, Kanata is currently ahead of Clemson.
Yeah.
So that would, everyone up. So in the top 10, we haven't had pit stops yet, but we are seeing Javi and I think, again, Mickers also hasn't pit yet, so he needs to figure something out. But Javi has pit and is starting to catch up with the back markers at this point in time.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna catch up to those two ahead on this lap. But yeah, CO2's in the pit, so he's gonna try and get an undercut, but he's probably gonna get undercut himself by Ben, who was stuck behind him for the whole of the first stint. As we got Clemson trying really hard to get past Kanata here, and he's gone for a move. The door was left open by Kanata. Yeah, they're just snaking through these corners. Having to lift though is going to be costing them time. Kanata's going to have to box this lap for sure, because look at his fuel. It's completely done now. I think everyone might be boxing this lap. And he has to back out of it. Yeah, Clemson wins out in the end, and now he's going to start gapping Martin, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty. That could have ended disastrously if Kanata did not back out of that. Clemson had no sights of backing out. Had the move done in the corner beforehand. Just ran all the way down to the bus stop chicane in a pretty good position. Here comes Javi now to the inside of Kanata. Can he make this stick? Fresher tires for sure. And he's gonna make this stick on the inside. That's a nice little move for Javi, and that's why you have someone with that kind of pace in your team.
Absolutely, yeah. It was quite easy for him in the end with the soft tyres. Fracas has asked his BX on wheel. I think his issues are proof that he's on wheel today. I think he's not doing pads anymore, actually. Iggy's in the pits. And Skyline's carried on, actually. So Skyline's our new race leader.
So is Wedley. Snipe stayed out as well. Perry joins in. BX is, I'm pretty sure there's a line there, BX.
Identical strategies there for the PP boys.
Street Fighter coming in as well. Clemson staying out. Javi obviously.
Clemson's up to P4 now. But he's going to have Javi breathing down his neck any second now. Probably towards the bus stop.
So B2 staying out and ESP staying out as well. So a couple of different strategies just among teams more than anything else right now. Clemson shouldn't be too far away. Being caught by Javi is probably almost certainly going to be this lap. But Snipes, Wedley and Skyline are a considerable amount ahead than the battle we're currently watching.
So I think we're at the point where we could say there's probably going to be a different... Some people might be going for 2 stops and some people might be going for 3 stops, I think is the fair shout. I don't think 1 stop's going to be possible for anyone at all. Because we're not even a third of the way in. Yeah,
there's no way in a million years. Not unless you're Skyline, Wedley or Snipes, who, quite frankly...
Yeah, they could be trying it.
Maybe can go 1 more if you're absolutely lucky. I don't know how much that fuel is. I can't imagine it being more than an extra lap from where we are.
No, definitely not. Once it goes into the red, that's kind of like your 1 lap warning.
Yeah, and Skyline has been in decent control of his own race right now, and there's a pit lane. That might be dangerous to cutting it. Wesley staying out.
Wesley staying out again.
So, it's
he does have right. Okay, let's see if they end up limping back to the pit lane with no fuel left, because that does not look like 1 lap's worth of fuel. Looking at that tiny gauge that we've got in the bottom there.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. The McLaren obviously shifts in a very particular way. In comes Clemson on his 1% of fuel as well. So Javi comfortably ahead of Viggy.
Yeah, he's got a huge lead.
So
is Slim going to be net P2 actually? Slim actually leapfrogged Piggy. What's wrong with me today? What is going on?
This is an all-time performance here.
Oh my god.
From Ross. So Iggy 3.7 seconds, sorry, behind Slim. It shouldn't be too far away.
Yeah, so Slim might end up playing the team game here and making life really difficult for Iggy so that Javi can extend his lead. Because I have a feeling Javi's going to have to do an extra stop on Iggy before the end of the race, because they've been out for quite a long time.
Yeah, and then you've got Skyline 10 seconds off the back of Iggy, and then 3 seconds ahead of Ben. So Ben's undercut might have
Ben undercut Perry as well, and Perry's just started to queue up behind Ben. So we might see a move there fairly soon.
You're absolutely rinsed in chat. I've seen at least 4 or 5 piggy jokes in the last couple of corners. Yeah, Perry is getting right up behind Ben now as well. He's got a 4-way train coming!
What's happened to Skyline? What's going on with Skyline? Why is he so slow all of a sudden? It looks like he's got his start menu pressed or something. Look at the hazards on his. Oh,
he has.
And now he's back, but he's just rejoined back in 8th behind Perry, BX, and Ben there.
That's a costly, pretty much about a 5-second loss there for Skyline, who was in complete control of his race. Also, Wedley and Snipes both got to the pits.
It said 0 on both of them, so I wonder if they actually made it with, by the skin of their teeth there.
Well, I looked a little bit dodgy there by Javi on the outside of turn 1. He's got an 8-second gap to Slim, who is getting caught up at a decently quick margin here by Iggy, who is currently second or so a lap quicker than the Mazda driver at this point in time. And then you got Snipes, who's coming out of the pits now. Snipes
is going to come back out in 4th. This is great for Snipes and Wesley. They stayed out really long, and they're still going to come out ahead of. Well, Ben was the next highest car, and all the time that we've seen Ben lose so far in this race is coming back to punish him and Perry and BX, who we saw have various problems as well. So, on fresher tyres, it's going to work out really well for Snipes and Wesley at the moment. Wesley Snipes, oh my god.
I was about to say, only issue for these two is that they're on medium tyres, and everyone within a half-mile radius behind them are on softs. That might become a problem very quickly.
Well, it's more of a problem for Ben and everyone else, because if they can't overtake these two fairly quickly, it's going to completely ruin their strategies.
Well, yeah, given the fact if Snipes and Wesley can hold on, Snipes is just going to be praying that Wesley does a CO2 job here, because the longer that they don't pass here, the more it's going to suit them. They might be on for a potential top 5 finish for certain, maybe a podium if Slim or one of the top Slim, Javi or Iggy make a mistake or two. Here we go down to the corner, down here. It looked like Ben.
So Ben's going to go for it. He doesn't have enough in him to get it done though. Wesley's going to keep the position for now.
Still side by side. The outside line now for Ben here. And he might be
get overtaken
by
Perry. Yeah, that didn't work out too well for Ben, but he's gone defensive for the next corner already to stave off
no, he hasn't. He's gone for a move.
In fact, he's gone for Wesley. He managed to... they've both gone wide. They're both going to get penalties. This is perfect for the Project Platypus boys, because... 1 second for Wesley. And what about Ben? Ben got away with it. How?
That is ridiculous.
He must have completely lifted. He must have completely lifted when he was off track, and Wesley
didn't. Here comes Perry to the inside. He doesn't go for it, but Wesley's trying against BX here.
And just BX kept it on track as well. Everyone's so close together that there's not enough room on the road for them all to get around.
Yeah, it's just everyone is absolutely going after each other right now. PX and Perry are going to try and use a little bit of teamwork to try and go after the two.
A little bit of bump drafting going on right now.
Wesley not able to do a CO2 job here. I mean, it's probably going to drop off the rest of the pace and back towards Skyline.
Yeah. So it's not worked out too well for Perry, but Snipes is still in P4, and he's got about a second gap ahead of Ben. So it's looking much better for Snipes than Wesley. Wesley's also got that penalty. It's going to drop him behind P9 as well. I can't remember who's in P9.
Potentially, P9 right now is Skyline. But I don't know if that's a second gap. That could be a very interesting one to keep an eye out in the background of the shot, because that's what it's going to be here. Let's have a go. Let's have a quick look going back there. Iggy has caught Slim, you are right. We will go to that just as we see Skyline to the inside of Wesley, and they've come together. As Skyline does get the move done with him in the foreground. Perry
Ben's
gets
going
past
backwards
Ben,
as well now.
BX has just
contact.
plowed straight into the side of Ben there. BX not, that is, well, Ben seems to be
there's a little bit of lag we can see, yeah. So I don't know if that came into play a little bit. But yeah, looks like Iggy's got past Slim. So Iggy's up into P2 now, and Slim couldn't hold Iggy for too long. The gap is 9.8 seconds between Iggy and Javi. So it's going to be a game of cat and mouse for the rest of the race to see what the strategies end up looking like. Unless Slim can come back on Iggy. Iggy's gone defensive for the bus stop. Slim's going to pull up alongside a little bit and backs out at the last second. Iggy keeps the position.
Yeah, and that should allow Iggy to start making a little bit of a move now. Look at the difference in tyre wear. Iggy should be able to gap relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to have a look at this before everything descended into chaos back
now
here.
we got Perry trying to overtake Snipes on the mediums, and he's got it. That was quite an easy overtake in the end for Perry. Unless he... Oh, I spoke too soon.
I think he may have spoke too soon. The outside of that, the bus stop chicane there, is he going to get a penalty? It looked like he kicked up some grass. He might have got away with it.
I think he just got away with it, and he's going to be able to start driving away from Snipes now. And it's BX's job next to try and overtake this medium run car.
It looked like Perry may have just got away with a little bit of daylight robbery on the exit of that bus stop chicane. We're going to have a little bit look further back and see what's going on, if anything is happening at the back. The answer is no, CO2.
Oh, and, what's happened to CO2? He's fallen right off.
Oh, Street Fighter has damage. All the damage.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure it's meant to be heavy damage, so he might be screwed.
Is it heavy damage? I thought last week might have been light damage. I'm not too sure.
I'm not entirely sure. We can have a very quick look if we can find a bit of the race that doesn't have people fighting.
So we see Wesley's falling behind Skyline now, so that's quite a big moment for Skyline in his race. He's probably going to be able to start gapping Wesley, both of them on the mediums at this point in the race as well, so they're going to be trying to go a little bit longer than the soft-tired cars ahead. Looks like Snipes is losing positions as well.
Oh, he's got a 2.5 second time penalty as well. That does not look good. He got overtaken by
He's going to fall. He's going to fall into Skyline and Wesley's clutches again by the end of the lap.
He's going to be probably further back than that, because he's 3.1 on Skyline right now. And we know 2.5 second penalty isn't actually 2.5 seconds, but more up the upside of 4.
Yeah.
So he might be in a lot of trouble when trying to get against Skyline and Wesley here. But they are fighting roughly for 7th at the moment. We'll wait and see how things shape out with the guys at the front. Also, we'll take a look and see whether or not Street Fighter damage had disappeared.
Let's take a look at where the Pegasus guys are, because none of them are in the top 9. So we got Pumpkin Patch in 10th on the softs.
Garrick in 12th and Street.
Street Fighter's having that nightmare there. So yeah, not going too well in the race so far for the Pegasus boys. None of them troubling the big points at the moment. Snipes with this huge penalty. Let's see how quickly he gets caught by these guys.
Down into the corner. Is it going to be enough? It's actually surprisingly not enough. 2.5 seconds to bring him into Skyline and Wesley. So, that
Skyline
might be a penalty.
Very wide. That should be a penalty unless he completely lifted.
Yeah, no, that's one of them.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, Wesley's going to be gifted that place back in a lap unless he takes him earlier. It looks like Skyline's a little bit out of shape on these medium tyres.
Can I just say, that might bring Pumpkin Patch into this.
Yeah, he's catching up to them pretty quickly, actually, because these guys keep tripping over themselves.
Yeah, everyone around here just putting shooting themselves in the foot so far.
Yeah.
In this race. Penalty here, penalty there. Skyline, the next victim of that. Snipes just had a 2.5. Wesley's got no control over his car on the exit of turn 1, apparently. So yeah, Pumpkin's now within a second of Wedley, well within a second and a half of Skyline. So that'll give Pumpkin a reason to try and get close enough to Wedley here.
Yeah, he's got the slipstream, Wesley, so he might be able to. Oh, never mind. I was going to say he might be able to have a go, but he's nowhere near actually as the bus stop. Chicane.
Yeah, and they find Skyline here, just to hold up job a little bit on Wedley if possible, make sure Snipes doesn't get dragged into this fight, because he absolutely will if he's given chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was going well for V2 just took just a left turn. It's sharp left turn there in the space of a lap or two. Let's see where this 1.5 seconds is going to take, and then Snipes is
surely
up
outside.
ahead.
Yeah, surely down to 10th.
It would be very surprising. Pumpkin Patch had got up to the battle. I'm pretty sure you're meant to move off the line here.
Yeah.
But he isn't going to move off the line, but he is going to drop down exactly as we thought, all the way down to 10th behind Wedley and Pumpkin. Well, we still have a four-way fight here. Is anything else unfolding at the front? No, BX is holding his own to the back of Perry, which is a sentence again I never thought I'd say. But they are a country mile off the back of Slim, who's 5 seconds off Iggy, and Iggy has managed to close that gap by about 3.5 seconds so far.
Yeah, that early pit stop for Slim and Javi, they must have refueled all the way to fill the tank, because obviously you're starting on a half a tank, so they wanted to go long, and they've just managed to create a huge gap on the guys that decided to stay out for about 10 plus laps.
Yeah, they need one stint of 18 and one stint of 19 on soft tires, I believe, up to after pitting on lap 1. Iggy is closing in, but
Iggy's going very quick at the moment.
We're in a position where we are seemingly in a reverse of last week, where we know that everyone will have to pit again, and someone's got a large lead and being hunted down by the other team. So last week it was Project Platypus being charged down by Arix, and seemingly the shoe's on the other foot today.
Yeah, it's like they've inverted their strategies, the two teams. We've got Pumpkin Patch here really closing in on Wesley. Like I said earlier, the Porsche really loves the medium tyres, and Wesley's on the mediums as well, but doesn't seem to be enjoying them as much as he was on the softs earlier.
Yeah, and he's just going to be coming under fire here a little bit from Pumpkin. He's trying to reel in Snipes.
The Porsche's really good around here as well.
Yeah, and I think for Wesley, if I'm Wesley, I don't look too much to Pumpkin, because your best form of defense here is attack. You've got to go after Snipes.
Yeah, he's still hanging on to the back of Snipes as well.
No, he's doing more than hanging on to the back of him now. It's 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, he's got to run.
It might come down the hill here. Snipes at the headlights turning on now as we're heading into I think it's we're past sunset. We started on it, and now into twilight. In Watkins Glen here, Wedley tried against Snipes. Didn't look like he was going to get close enough for a move there down into turn 1. But again, as we just said, the best form of defense is attack, and that's exactly the method that. Oh, Skyline's gone!
Oh, Skyline's gone.
Oh, that is not good news for V2.
Disconnection, I'm assuming.
And here
he was in a good position. Wait, here comes Wesley anyway.
On the inside of Snipes, and Snipes is just being a bit too kind, realistically.
Yeah, he completely backed out of it, to be honest, and Wesley just said, thank you very much. I am going to take P7. But yeah, huge shame for Skyline, because he was doing pretty well in this race. I don't know if it was connection or what, but we'll find out fairly soon. And yeah, that's points down the drain for V2.
Yeah, down into, well, they'll finish in 15th, so I don't know if that'll classify as points, but even if it will classify as points, it'll be singular
1 point.
Yeah. So it's a far cry from what Skyline was going to get. He looked like a top 6 finisher in this race, let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree. He was the one that was troubling the Arix and the PP guys the most.
I can't hear that and take that seriously. Slim coming into the pit for his
Slim is in.
stop.
Right, let's see what he's going to do. He's obviously going to have to fuel in up for the rest of the race. I wonder if he's going to go onto the softs or the mediums, because I think he just did his medium tyre at the very beginning, so this might be softs to the end.
I was about to say, he just did 18 laps on a soft tyre, as I said before, it's 18 one, 19 on the other, so I can't imagine if you're doing 18 on soft, you might as well do 19 on soft, so I can't imagine that being anything other than a soft tyre coming on his car.
Let's see if he comes out in traffic, though.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It looks like the
No,
traffic
these
is
three,
just past him.
yeah, these three went past comfortably. Actually, he is coming out in traffic. Looking at the, yeah, so he's just
coming out straight into Clemson and
yeah.
Genrick here.
Genrick, he's going to have to overtake fairly quickly if he's going to make this undercut work, because he could potentially come out in front of Iggy again. If he really nails these next few laps, he's going to have a huge tyre advantage on Iggy at the moment.
Yeah, just checking further back if anything had happened. Yeah, he's 1.4 off Genrick, so he's got to close that gap up. Oh, he can Pumpkin against Snipes. Snipes is trying against Wesley as well. Yeah. We're still fighting three-way here. Tyres.
Really wide corner there for Snipes. That's completely opened the door for Pumpkin Patch. If he's going to be really... You can go for a dive bomb into this corner, but he doesn't. You have to be really brave on it, though, because you can easily get it wrong and punt someone off. But at the moment...
Javi into the pits now.
Yeah, Javi's followed Slim, so it's only 1 lap difference in strategy between those two.
So, yeah, which means, as I said before, that... Oh, that did not look good for Snipes, who has let off. That's going to be
a penalty. Surely that's a penalty.
Yeah, I don't think it... Yeah, it's only
half a second. Yeah, because he lifted so much.
Visible lift off as well. You could tell that he was going significantly slower. So he did save himself technically a second on the penalty, but that did cost himself enough here against Pumpkin. But he's
holding up Pumpkin now as well.
Yeah, going back to the point with Harry and Slim, whereas they're on alternate strategy. So as I said before, 19 on one set of softs and 18 on the other. So Harry did his 19 now, and it looked like Slim did his 18 now. So they'll be on reverse to the end of the race now.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like Pumpkin might be going for this. If I was Pumpkin, I would definitely be going for this.
He's losing way too much time. I don't know what's happened to Snipes in this last lap, but he's lost all his confidence.
No idea, but he's gonna get he's under fire now. Here comes Pumpkin to the inside, and quite frankly, I would not be looking to relinquish that. And
Snipes looked like he backed out of it a little bit there and let Pumpkin have that position.
Yeah, the V2 lads are playing a bit too fair, honestly, so far. We saw it with Skyliners.
Don't say that. There's some good racing still, but
it's some great racing. But
it's clever. It's clever not challenging drivers into the bus stop, because more often than not, there's going to be some sort of contact.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. From a self-preservation standpoint, it's a brilliant idea that you're going to keep going, and you will have another chance later down the line. Or that's the thinking anyway.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, oh look at Javi and MK going at it there. But at the end of the day, you can't be thinking like that in a race. Sometimes, especially when you get into this.
Yeah, you've got to pick your moment, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a very big proponent of that.
You can't just Max Verstappen your way through.
Some people will try. They will definitely try.
And where are they now? But not in the league anymore.
They will definitely try, give it that much. And then you got Javi ahead of Ben.
Yeah, Javi and Ben had a little bit of team orders there. Ben let Javi through fairly easily.
I can't imagine why.
Because look at those tyres! On 2 times tyre wear, he still ends up driving around on completely dead tyres.
I think he pitted like 6 or 7 though, Ben. So he's meant to be doing 6, 16, 16, which means he's pitting at the end of this lap. However, she's gone to a point where Wesley is now within firing range, and that is not a good idea.
Yeah, Wesley's gonna... I mean, look at Wesley's tyres compared to Ben's. Ben was on a soft stint, and he's only less than a second ahead of Wesley. So this has gone very badly for Ben in terms of strategy here.
We know now. We're going from this, and we know that Ben is going to be screwed on this final lap of the actual race too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this might play massively into the hand of Pegasus and ESP for a top 5 finish here.
I would be shocked if Ben manages to get a top 5 from this point.
If I can say it, if I ever feel bad about my tyres, I have Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Very true.
Yeah, that's That is an incredible tyre wear issue. And here comes Wesley, who's cut 6/10. Of course he has, because he's...
Oh, what's gone on there? Ben's lost traction on the exit and nearly took Wesley with him.
Here comes Wesley to the outside. Can he hang it? No, he cannot hang it. Ben is all over the place.
This is costing Wesley loads of time here. Ben is 2.8 seconds slower than his quickest lap. That's mental. Even and he's gone wide again. Now he's going to the pits. Let's see if that ends up being a penalty. And now Wesley has to go around the outside of him because of the way the pit lane is in this track.
Pumpkin did
Patch
as well.
follows him in the pits as well.
That is an absolute mess there from Ben coming into the pits. Wesley isn't going to complain. That's 3 positions when you do that.
Yeah, at the start of the second stint, Ben was miles ahead of Pumpkin Patch, and they basically came into the pits at the same time.
Yeah, and they're roughly on the same amount of fuel as well, so it's a case of... And they're in the same car, so equal machinery, equal... everything apart from equal tyres, which is not good news for Ben when you've got someone on a far better tyre than you behind you.
Exactly. Which is weird to say because that was a Porsche driver. the Porsche isn't that good on tyres, so... I'm
about to say, that is as equal machinery gets. You can't... The only difference between the two tyres, the two cars, is the difference in tuning, and it won't have made that much difference to the tyre wear, surely.
I don't know. I wonder if you went on the higher downforce settings, you'd be a bit better on the tyres.
Potentially, but also Ben is on the pad, and there's notoriously the worst tyre driver in the league.
Absolutely the worst pad user in terms of tyres. Very fast though, despite that. Yeah,
if he had the tyres that matched his pace, he'd be a world champion in the server, 100%.
Mateus just said Viking would have won this. I don't know. Look, the Iggy's putting in some crazy lap times.
That would require
so
him to show
I don't know if he'd have been. And that. Imagine having a life. I mean, come on.
I was about to say that actually requires him being present, which he wasn't, which is why he didn't race. Perry doing a decent job in his way at the moment.
Yeah, Perry's pretty much 4 seconds ahead of BX Royal, so he's not feeling much pressure from the Ferrari.
I know I should be paying attention to this, but how long is an actual pit stop at Watkins Glen? Because there's a 32-second gap between Iggy and Javi right now.
Yeah, but Iggy's going to have to put in fuel. So, and Javi's going purple.
It's going to be very, very interesting at the end of this season.
It depends how much fuel Iggy needs. Like, if Iggy's been managing to save fuel, I think he'll come out ahead of Javi and then just drive off, to be honest.
Yeah, Javi's about 60-ish% fuel at this point in time. He's been a couple of laps since his pit stop, so he's probably put in about 70 or maybe just over. I'm very intrigued as to how this is going to shake out, because Iggy and Javi are... Well, it was 6 tenths of it. It was 6 seconds beforehand. We'll see how close it is now. Javi's pit was roughly 35 seconds, so that would bring about a 4-second gap. And and
Iggy's come in.
We're about to find out now, so we don't even have to ask the question.
So, if Vikings' calculations are correct, and we're going to put all of our expectations on them being right, so if they're wrong, Viking, watch out. Javi should have about a 3.5 second lead over Iggy.
Iggy's already putting his fuel in.
Yeah. And he's already stopped putting his fuel in.
already
and Javi's not even anywhere near finishing the lap. He's just coming up to the finishing line now, so that's going to be a comfortable P1 for Iggy. I don't know what Viking was smoking.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it? Are you sure about that?
Is the pit exit that long?
Yes, it is! And then goes Javi in the lead of the race!
That's mental. Okay.
And it's more than
I was sharpening my knives for Viking there, and I can't do anything. Actually, he got a 5.4 second lead over Iggy as well. So that's huge for Javi.
Also, Iggy 10 seconds, casually 10 seconds ahead of Claire Slim already.
Looks like Perry's coming out of the pits into traffic as well. Genrik's going to come past, but Genrik's going to have to stop at some point. Clemson also ahead of Perry. Is Clemson going to have to stop? Let's see.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and he had damage, so he must have had a mistake or two.
Oh, dear.
On the on the lap prior there. So, Genrik's going to have to pit. BX is just pit. CO2 is trying to figure something out. Ben pit, obviously, not that long ago. Pumpkin Patch is still reasonably close with Snipes right on the back of him again, by the way. Well, I
Yeah,
don't know where
Pumpkin Patch
Snipes
has
come
so
back
much
from.
more fuel in his tank, which I don't think is necessary at all. He's got 75% of a tank of Pumpkin Patch, so I think he's miscalculated this final stop.
Street's still got a pit as well, and
Well, yeah, he
not
definitely
just
does.
sorted his last one. So, yeah, there are a few drivers here trying to fashion something out of this. But the pit stops is going to be very interesting. 5.8 seconds is the gap now between Javi and Iggy, and with 13 laps left, Iggy is definitely going to have the better tyres.
He will, but he won't really see the benefit for a few laps because Javi's are still fairly fresh as well.
I'm about to say, is Iggy going to be able to catch 6 seconds on Javi?
He has to go half a second a lap quicker and then get the overtake done on the final lap to be able to do that.
He has to also overtake. So this is going to be extremely interesting by the end of this race. And I reckon it all pretty much depends on how well those how well those Javi tires look.
This is going to like the final 2 laps definitely.
Wedley still has to pit, so we'll figure out where Wedley and Clemson. Here comes Genrick.
Genrick's in the pits on
side
zero
by side
fuel.
Here, Clemson
oh,
and
side
Perry.
by side Perry and Clemson. Yep, Clemson still hasn't come into the pits yet, but he does lose that position finally to Perry. So he managed to stay ahead of Perry despite having all that damage on his car through Sector 1 in the previous lap. So this has definitely held Perry up a little bit at the beginning of his final stint.
Yeah, Perry is currently 11 seconds behind Slim, and we all know that these guys have made their final stops outside of Clemson and Wedley.
Perry has to catch him on pace now. But he's still getting challenged by Clemson, so that's not going to be made easy for him.
Definitely not, and there's no hope in hell. We're debating whether or not Iggy's going to be able to catch 6 seconds. There is no hope of Perry catching 11. Not in a million.
Did you see how many mistakes Slim made last race, though? I mean,
it would require, I reckon it would require quite a heavy mistake.
Slim needs to redeem himself after last week. But let's just talk about the person in P3 for a second. Wesley. He's going to the end. No, he's not. He's going to have to stop again. Never mind. I was looking at the tyres before the fuel, alright. I didn't see the fuel as that.
No, you're having an all-timer here, Ross.
Oh.
You're having an absolute all-timer here. So it's Cleason.
Cleason Piggy.
Cleason Piggy, and Wesley has now got fuel to go to the end, even though he's on maybe like.
Hey, we know the Master's good on fuel. You never know.
He's got 20% of a tank at absolute most, and that's me being kind, given that the 25% is a little white line.
It's just going to be basically a splash and dash for Wesley. Technically, he doesn't even need to change tyres, but he's probably going to go on the softs, and I think top 6 is definitely on the cards for Wesley.
It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out against Ben.
There's a huge gap between BX and Ben, 16 seconds, so he should be slotting into that gap. He was fighting Ben earlier in the race, was Wesley. So you'd expect Ben to get an undercut, but that's such a huge gap.
Yeah, it'd be about 6th right now, the chance for Wesley, realistically, maybe.
Yeah.
Potentially top 5 if there's a mistake or so in the top, at the front of the grid. So we'll wait and see where Wesley comes in. Wesley can't be like more than a lap or so at this point from coming in. BX is now going after Clemson, which, in the graph straight away.
Struggling on his tyres now. The less than 50% left on the front left there for Clemson.
Yeah, this should be easy for BX. Quite frankly, should not have too many issues against Clemson here, even though the ESP lads have put on a defensive masterclass, especially CO2 early in the race. It should not be an issue. BX should be able to make this work very quickly, and by very quickly, there he goes down the inside.
Yeah, wasting absolutely no time.
No, he is not. That is surprising because he should have had a better exit.
I know. What happened there?
Going now. He's going now instead, and BX to the inside has finally got it done on Clemson. And the movie probably should have done a corner ago.
Yeah, really good bit of racing from Clemson and BX there to keep battling and keep the fight going, even though Clemson was kind of onto a losing battle there. So the gap between first and second is now 4.8.
Just a quick update, 4.8, so a second gained on that, and there is absolutely nothing gained by Perry on Slim.
Yeah, Perry's not doing it
at the moment, and here comes Clemson. So that's one position for the guy at the back here. Pumpkin is ahead of Snipes right now. Then you've got CO2, who has to pit himself. Street Fighter and Genrick at the back of the grid right now has made his pit stop, but will jump.
Yeah, really far back now for Genrick.
He'll jump all three of these, CO2, Kanata, and Street Fighter when they all inevitably jump in.
Yeah.
If they all have to jump in, actually, Kanata might be going to the end. He might have already.
I think he is. I think he's done quite a good strategy there, Kanata, fuel-wise.
Okay, this could be potentially interesting. CO2 has to come in. We'll wait and see. Let's see if Pumpkin Patch is able to get closer enough to.
Yeah, he's dropped off the back of Javi a little bit now. Not Javi, Ben.
Yeah. Javi is now in 7th, even though he's leading the race. That's incredible. Didn't know you could drive 2 cars at once, but that's probably more impressive. Would probably explain Ben's tyre wear as well. He's just having to yank an extra wheel. Yeah, I'm not letting you live these down. But yeah, we'll go through this race. It's 10.5 now between Perry and Slim.
Yeah, but that's only because Slim's getting held up by Wesley. Wesley finally going into the pits now to make his final stop. So, like we said, watch out for where he comes out in relation to Ben, because he might have to chase him down in the last few laps and get an overtake done if he can't come out ahead.
Yeah, and wow, the tyres are significantly in Iggy's favour. And that time has come down another second since the last time we saw it.
Yeah, it's starting to get interesting now in the battle for P1 between Javi for Arix and Iggy for Project Platypus.
We'll keep an eye out on this. This is Wesley coming out of the pits in, once again, the longest wayfire possible. This pit lane is hilarious to see. Oh, there's Wesley's car! Is he going to get out in front?
He is.
Comfortably out in front.
Ben might have a run down through Sector 1 because he's got the slingshot out of Turn 1 and Wesley doesn't. Wesley's car's a lot slower at this point.
But he will be on significantly better tyres and...
Yeah, Ben has to get the overtake done right now if he's going to have a chance of staying ahead of Wesley for the rest of the race.
Also, it's an incredible Wesley, and Wesley clearing everyone else because he was in a battle with with Snipes and Pumpkin originally. So he's made some ground in that last stint.
Yeah, he really has, proving what he can do when he's got a decent car under him, which I haven't ever seen before.
It's what happened. This is what happened when Wesley actually had the chance to show his pace instead of being put in an Audi.
Yeah. Rule number 1 of ALR, don't let your teammate choose any car that they want.
Yeah, you learn that one the hard way. You definitely shouldn't have to take 2 seasons to learn that lesson, but it has. Pumpkin holding on it against Knights.
Pumpkin only 2.5 behind Ben, so he's still in and with a shout when, if we expect Ben's tyres to start going before anyone else's.
Also, Clemson's going to have a run here against Kanata later on into this race.
Yeah.
Tyres definitely worse than Clemson. Clemson just come in. Devrick's 12th. CO2 is just ahead of Street Fighter. So
yeah, Street Fighter will want to get at least that position before the end of the race. He'll see CO2 and think, yeah, that's possible.
There's a blue flag here as well, so there's Javi.
Oh, there's Javi.
We don't have to go very far to hit the top of the grid. And there is the N6 behind him.
Yeah, 3.2 seconds now the gap, so Iggy's still quicker than Javi at this point of the race. But 3 seconds and 7.5 laps left. So he has to still be doing better than half a second to catch up. And maybe lapping these back markers might have an impact, depending on how quickly these guys can negotiate the back markers.
I was about to say that, yeah. It's BOP is on. BOP is on. It's a normal Monday race in terms. BOP is on, but Aero tuning is on as well. So, yes.
Yeah, they've tuned the cars to have the best aerodynamics for the track that they think they could do. And that is why they've shaved a few seconds off what we can normally achieve in Group 3.
Yeah, so BOP is still a thing. All the cars are limited, but they are also tuned to a certain extent. And this is where you see the variation. Usually in terms of tyre wear and usually in terms of how much car will snap. We saw that last week when we were talking about the Arix lads. Javi had a setup he's very clearly learned from.
Yeah, they've really come up with a good strategy here, the Arix guys. So they're in pole position for being the highest point scorers here, with a P1, a P3, and a P7.
P2, P4, and P5.
P5, yeah. I think and Project Platypus will get pole position point and the fastest lap point as it stands as well.
Street Fighter getting out of the way from Javi.
Ooh, on the grass, I don't think that was necessary.
It's 2.4 seconds now that split the two. The Iggy is closing in.
Yeah, Iggy's closing in massively, but Javi did have to get that overtake done, which is part of the reason why it came down so quick.
Yeah, let's just say Javi is looking at that lap count and wishing it was maybe about 4 or 5 laps further on right now.
Javi about to lap another car ahead as well, and Iggy still hasn't caught up to Street Fighter just yet.
Yeah. He's
he's flashing him though. He's like, "Come on, lad, don't be wasting my time here."
Oh, and
Street Fighter pulls. So slightly better there for Iggy, with the lapping of that car than Javi. Now the gap is 2 seconds.
And well, we've got what, 7 laps to go. In theory, this should be relatively easy for Iggy. He's on better
if he can get the overtake done.
I say he's
Javi's
on better
not going to make the
tires
overtake easy.
I say that. Javi's on less fuel, so Javi will have a benefit there. And quite frankly, the tires aren't that much better.
No, they're not too different. This will be the first time that we've seen Iggy and Javi ever fight in ALR.
The beauty of eSports, isn't it? All the fastest drivers in the same place.
Yeah, the current Tier 1 champion versus the guy with the most Tier 1 championships in his bag are 1.6 seconds apart after 32 laps.
Yeah, I was about to say the reigning world champion and the most successful person in the history of the server. That's quite a battle we've got on our hands there.
Well, who's your money on?
Most successful guy in the history of the server is 1.4 seconds and about 6 laps to go. You don't back against that, realistically, especially on a difference in strategy. But again, it's entirely down to the tyres. If Javi can hold on to his tyres better than Iggy can, then it might bounce back at the end.
I think Javi is better on tyres. He's a wheel user and he is in the Mazda, so it should do a bit better than Iggy in the M6 combination. But he did pit so much earlier.
Yeah, and just looking now, Slim's 8 seconds ahead of Perry, so there's really no ground made up whatsoever there, and 19 seconds off of the top 2. We might just be about to come inside a second, and we are in fact inside of a second now. So Iggy with Javi in his sights. Javi have CO2 in his sights, so the slipstream isn't going to be too effective.
CO2 is going to start getting in the way here.
And well, we know CO2 can do a wall job if necessary. It's a bit of a problem this time being on a blue flag. There might be a little bit of an issue if he does it again. But we're going through the first sector now. Iggy, 0.8 of a second. The time is closing down. Javi still in pole position to win this race. He's gonna force Iggy to have to actually make that move, and that's gonna be the hardest part about all this, because these two drivers are exceptionally talented. They're exceptionally quick, and some of us could not even dream of getting this close.
The gap is just 0.6 of a second now. Iggy's just having a much better sector 1. I wonder if Javi's feeling a little bit distracted right now.
Potentially. But the overtake is going to be the hardest part. That's always the hardest part in racing. It's fine. You can be a quicker driver than the car in front of you. You can catch up to the back of them, but if you can't overtake them, then it's pointless. And what Javi's just got to CO2 getting out of the way now. Javi's just got to make his car as wide as humanly possible for as long as humanly possible, because that is a very quick M6 behind him.
Yeah, Iggy's not managed to close the gap anymore. He's been at about 0.4 of a second for 2 sectors now. So maybe he's starting to hit the dirty air and he's feeling like he can't get any closer to Javi. And as long as Javi can avoid making any mistakes and going too wide at any of these corners, he could find it really difficult to overtake Javi.
Yeah, I was about to say, at this point, it's not you're not going to get much closer without an actual move being attempted. He is 0.3 of a second. He has a slipstream. He looks to the inside.
Yeah, he backs out of it. He was way too far back.
Yeah, decides against it for now. We are heading towards the darkness here at Watkins Glen. The sun has fully set now, even though it doesn't fucking look like it. And we are heading toward the nighttime. Here, right
Iggy definitely has the run.
Can he do it? Javi looks to the
Javi's got
inside.
defensive.
They're going to go side by side down into the bus stop chicane. Javi's got the inside line. Javi is not able to stay in front.
Make it. Javi's going to have a better exit from the bus stop chicane though, and Iggy's going to plant it on the apex as we go around this really sweeping big spoon corner, and Iggy's got the position, and he looks like he's got the pace on Javi as well, so Javi has to do something very quickly or else Iggy might just start driving away from him.
Yeah, Javi got to stay with the back of on the back of Iggy here, because if he can stay on the back of Iggy, the tyres will eventually even out. Iggy's issue is his front tyres. They will go off pretty quickly. Javi's got issues with the rears just a little bit right now, but he seems to be saving his tyre a significant amount better, and now he's got slipstream. So if he can hold on, given that we've still got about 4 or 5 laps left to go, 4 and some change if you want to go from this point, it's going to be really close, where if that tyre starts to bounce back, Iggy might be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been able to gap Javi since he fully took the lead and stopped getting challenged around the corners, and Javi's just stuck to the back of him so far, so he needs to carry that on for the next maybe 2 or 3 laps before winding up a move.
The more actual impressive thing about all this is that CO2 has managed to stick with him.
I know, yeah, CO2's now putting Javi under a little bit of pressure.
Because CO2 just shows up for a lap in every race and back off.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's,
Javi actually dropping off the back of Iggy. He's he's 9/10 back now. So things looking a little bit more comfortable at the start of this 35th lap.
It's the rear tyres just starting to fall in the favour of Iggy now, and we know the rear tyres usually play a lot more of a factor. And Javi's got a penalty! It's a 2-second penalty, and that is game, set, and match, Iggy. There's no way that Javi's coming back from that.
Yeah, obviously he was pushing himself a little bit too hard there and went over the bus stop with all 4 of his tyres. So got that 2-second penalty. Obviously didn't brake at all either, or lift, because I think 2 is the maximum that you can get.
Yeah, and also absolutely incredible that Wesley has cut a 5-second gap there on the back of MK. And
yeah, Ben's not been able to challenge in this since the last pit stops, and Pumpkin Patch now coming under a lot of pressure from Snipes, who these two have been battling all race, and Pumpkin Patch managed to get ahead.
Snipes had to move it into turn 1. Oh, we have a little bit
on the
of
grass.
We have a
he was trying to put his nose where there absolutely wasn't space, to be fair, so they carry on.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Pumpkin offered the outside line to him.
Yeah.
Snipes very clearly went, nope, don't want that. And tried to go to the inside, and Pumpkin, well, had his car there, and there's not really much you can do about that.
Just a racing incident, that one.
Yeah, it's not that. No, after we saw what we saw earlier on, there's
Kanata is 10th, by the way.
Yeah,
how'd that happen?
He might not be 10th for much longer.
No, he's getting chased down a lot by Clemson.
Genrick in 12th at the moment. Then you got CO2, who we've watched prior get lapped by Iggy and Javi, who were fighting, and then Javi got a penalty to put the nail in the coffin there. So Iggy, without a mistake of his own, should win this race. Clemson might be able to find himself at the back of the top 10.
He's reeling in Kanata massively here. Kanata went really wide out of the hairpin, but managed to carry just enough speed to keep ahead and not get challenged.
And
but he's gone super
a bit of an
wide
issue there as well. And here comes
expect
Clemson.
to see the penalty coming up. And Clemson's going to stick his nose in anyway. Kanata left in the room, and now he's going to get the inside line for the next corner.
There is no penalty here for Kanata, by the way.
There isn't a penalty for Kanata. He must have lifted.
He survived the penalty somehow, but he isn't going to survive one from Clemson. If Clemson could have gone for that
he's
there.
all over the back of him right now.
It's just a case of when, not if, when it comes to Clemson versus Kanata here. It's very much in the similar vein to what we just saw with Iggy and Javi a minute ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Clemson's definitely got the pace on Kanata. To be honest, this is quite a good debut from Kanata. I saw him down in P14 earlier on, and I thought, okay, he's that's where he's going to finish then. But absolutely not. He's in the top 10, and he's there on merit as well.
Yep, and Clemson's going to try and go after him. We're going to the back. Nothing happening any further back than this fight, so
no.
We're going to hold on to this fight and then go further back, further up, because the two cars in front are still going at it for the the entirety of the 36 laps so far, I'm pretty sure. Those two have been, Pumpkin and Snipes have been completely inseparable this race.
Yep. Yeah, very similar pace, those guys.
Kanata doing just about enough on Clemson here, trying for the fight at the back of the top 10. Don't know if Clemson's gonna have to make a move eventually.
He needs to get close enough first. Kanata's been driving really well so far this lap.
Yeah, we saw a half-hearted move at the end of the last lap, which is why Clemson's so far away. He's gotta. We always talk about it. It's about picking your spot. So I would like to see Clemson try and drive a little bit more conviction here. Try and get, if he can get close enough to Kanata again, maybe just pick his spot and go for it regardless. Yeah. And suffer the consequences later, because Genrick is literally nowhere to be seen in this fight. They're 6 seconds back, so a 5-second penalty would not actually influence either driver here, but they are a country mile off of Snipes in front. I'm actually trying to reel in MK again. If you look ahead, look further up the mini-map, it looked like Ben.
It's not over yet for Ben. Well, yeah, I think
again.
we need to have a check of Ben's tyres and see how healthy they are at this stage, because we said that we're going to die.
We'll do that on the exit of on the entrance into the bus stop chicane here. Clemson shouldn't be able to have enough of a run down into the bus stop chicane to get Kanata. Kanata should be able to hold on to 10th for now. 4v2 against DSP. So the team directly above them in the championship. He's definitely able to hold on for a split second. Clem had much better run there. Is he going to be able to take advantage of that run? Maybe a little bit deep, and that is going to sacrifice his run into the following corner here. We're going to very quickly... Oh my Jesus Christ!
Right, Ben's in a lot of trouble here. Ben is in so much trouble.
Ben is going to be depressed at the fact that there's still another lap, an entire lap to go here.
Yeah.
So Pumpkin and Snipes should both get it. Realistically, not only has he in the first stint we saw him lose his front left, and still had a little bit to go on his front on his back left. They're both gone. He's not even getting that this time. They are both disappeared, and here comes Pumpkin directly behind him, and this
Pumpkin needs to waste no time here and get a move into turn 1, or else he's going to come under a lot of pressure on this final lap by Pumpkin Patch. By Snipes, I should say.
He's going to go try round the outside, and I can't say I blame him. The tyres are definitely going to allow it. He isn't going to get it into the first of the corners here at Watkins Glen.
How is Ben going to negotiate the bus stop?
He isn't.
Under pressure from two cars with tyres like that.
There isn't. Here comes Pumpkin again.
And he's going defensive. He's not going to give up any of these places.
It doesn't
Looks
matter.
like Pumpkin Patch is going to get him anyway. Around the outside. And they make it through. Ben goes really wide though because of the contact. And now Snipes is challenging Pumpkin Patch for P7.
Side by side for 7 for Snipes. Goes through them both.
Oh, what an overtake.
I think he has won the race.
Yeah, Iggy's won the race by 2.7 seconds from Arex Javi. And then there's quite a big gap to Arex Slim, who's actually has been caught in the end by Perry.
But it isn't enough. It's just too late. We'll give Iggy his proper send-off in a minute when we've gone through all the battles, because there is a massive battle going at the end. So Slim 3rd, Perry 4th, BXLN 5th, Wedley 6th. We've still got a battle here between Pumpkin and Snipes, looking for that 7th position.
Yeah, Pumpkin isn't done yet.
Gonna go around the outside, or try the outside here. He's got realistically one more chance to make a move, and he's not gonna try it here. And he's too far back now. He has to hope for a mistake
by Snipes, otherwise Snipes has wrapped this one up.
Yeah, and it looks like round the final couple of corners, Snipes is going to have to go deep here, otherwise it's game, set, match for 7th place. Snipes does not in fact go. He does go a little bit deep, but it's not enough, as Snipes is going to take 7th place against Pumpkin there. Pumpkin in 8th, decent result for Pegasus, and MK is coming 9th. Kanata has disappeared from Clemson somehow.
Clemson 11th.
Genrick in 12th is the last of the ones that finished on the first lap. 13th for CO2, 14th for Street Fighter, but it's 2 from 2 for Project Platypus here in the eSports League. Perry week 1 in Suzuka, Iggy in week 2 here at Watkins Glen.
Yep, and whilst you've been doing that, I've been calculating the standings now, so I can actually give you a update on what the standings look like if you want to just go with the results screen. So in fifth place is still Pegasus, unfortunately. So they increased to 33 points. Their best finish was 8th by Pumpkin Patch, which was one better than what he managed last week. In fourth place, we got V2. They are up into 40 points, and their main contributor was Snipes, who ended up P7. And then we got Panthera, our third, on 58. And yeah, as we saw, Wesley took a great P6 at the end, to be honest. Really good drive for him. Then Arix in P2, you can see Javi there and Slim both getting podiums, but Project Platypus are 10 points ahead of Arix on 109 to 96. Oh, 13 points, I've got to say. So yeah, another round where Project Platypus are the highest scoring drivers, finishing P1, P4, and P5 at the end, and getting pole and fastest lap.
Yeah, and that, well, 2 wins from 2 is going to do that at the end of the day, isn't it? Ericsson, we said it at the end of round 1. It'll be round 1 with Mars just a little bit. Round 2 is on merit, and we're going to have one hell of a season. Especially if Javi is going to be able to take 1 or 2 from the top guys at Project Platypus here.
Yeah, I think so as well. Just bear in mind, I don't think Project Platypus are going to be fielding a team as strong as they've managed in week 1 and week 2 for the entire season. There's a lot of other drivers in there that aren't Iggy pace. So we'll have to wait and see what they come up with strategy-wise to maintain and protect this 13-point lead that they've built over Arix. But yeah, it's going to be, you're right, it's going to be a very close season. Yeah,
it's just a lot. Well, we're a quarter of the way through the season at the moment. It's been all Project Platypus to start, but again, different cars suit different tracks. The Aero tuning is playing a decent chunk of a factor here, getting it relatively close racing the entire way. So we could walk into next week and there'd be a completely different car that's on top of the leaderboard, and at that point it's a case of just throwing a wild card every other week. So
yep. I mean, well, next week we're at Spa, very different track to Watkins, much lower on tyre wear. So if for example, someone like Ben should go much better there than they have done here, there shouldn't be much of a difference between pad and wheel users around Spa as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those where pit stop strategy is going to play a lot more of an effect than you'd expect. Same with Red Bull Ring after that. One of those that just tyre wear didn't really exist, but the lap times are the ones that actually matter. And it's creating a strategy, a winning strategy around those lap times. But yeah.
Absolutely. Just seen a comment from Slim, get Perry into tier 1 as soon as possible. Well, we said that last week. He's showing his true pace in this league. He is leading tier 2 as well. He's the championship leader in tier 2. We got to throw that out there in the Beetle of all things.
Yeah, Perry only knows what he's doing in terms of aero tuning. That's it.
What, you think everyone else will figure out the aero and he's ahead of the curve, and then once they figure it out, he'll be back down at P8?
Given that he had a month's head start, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been.
You're right about that. It's a brand new league, brand new regulations, for everyone. So it's probably a bit of a learning curve for everyone as well.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, been 2 pretty good weeks so far. 2 teams. We've got 2 sets of packs forming for definite. Yeah,
absolutely. We've got the top 6, I would say, and then we've got this medium group of drivers, I would say, who there's quite a lot that could end up in any position because they've all got pace to trouble the top guys, but seem to be making a little bit more errors, I would say. And then we've got some guys that are making a few more mistakes that have finished towards the end of both races.
Yeah, but yeah. I think that's everything we've got for the first 2 weeks of the season. Yep. A lot of incidents, a lot of close fighting, especially at the front.
Went a bit more smoothly today.
just slightly. I sorted my PS5 out. You know, and apparently my internet too. But yeah, we will see you guys next week, same time, same place, but for Spa this time. In a bit.
Yep. Thanks for watching.